What's up, y'all? Serrano786 here for some Destiny 2 news this week at Bungie, the final TWAB of Season 20, Season of Defiance, as we go into Season of the Deep, Season 21. Let's read this first little excerpt, and then we're just going to quickly go through the TLDR. I'm probably not going to go through this in too much detail, but I just kind of want to quickly do the overview of this. So, it says, this week at Bungie, we're saying goodbye to Season of Defiance and welcoming Season of the Deep. In other words, it's the last week of the season. We have tons of new content dropping in less than 5 days. So let's start with the right foot, recalling what we talked about last week. I'm just going to skip that. It says, and now what's on the menu for today? An overview of all major changes coming with Season 21. A first look at 3 new Strand aspects. An in-depth preview of Seasonal Artifact. An update on how enemy shields look. Ooh, they're changing the looks of the shields. So I'm curious to see how that looks. A note from the engineering team. Updated standings of the Guardian Games and Guardian Games Cup. Introducing Asians at Bungie. And the new Twitch bounty emblem. Ooh. Now that you all know what's coming, let's scuba dive into the TWAB, shall we? A TLDR list of Season 21 changes with Season of the Deep almost upon us. And with all information we have already shared about, some of you might need a refresher. Where you're not, we are here to help. Economy updates. Economy might sound boring at first, but when you start noticing how many things in the game depend on it, well, you start paying more attention to how it fluctuates. It's very true. At the start of Season 21, we will have several updates to the Destiny economy. You can read all in detail about them from the May 4th TWAB, but here's a recap of the major changes. Rahul exotic engram focusing. You can decrypt or focus exotic engrams, Tier 1 and Tier 2 options. Mind you, you have to have had those drops before. This is basically for those people who want to get a higher stat roll on the exotics you already have. There is going to be an option for focusing certain ones if you are missing some. But the Tier 2 options are the more stat specific. Tier 1s are going to be for the ones you don't have. Weapon deep sight activation. There's a new currency called Deep Sight Harmonizer. Basically what this does is it gives you the ability, if a weapon is able to have a deep sight on it, you can activate it and get the deep sight once on that weapon per weapon. So if you have, let's just say, a copy of a weapon that has a deep sight, you can activate it. You'll get the recipe for it, and then you can delete it or keep it if it's a good roll. And then if you find another one, you can activate it. Same thing. It's a good way for you to get the recipes for crafting the deep sight weapons. So I like this. It's going to be a good way to get the weapons that maybe you haven't gotten or maybe you missed in a previous season. So this will be really nice for people who need to catch up. Changes to crafting costs. Legendary shards are no longer required. I mean, I have such a surplus of legendary shards. I think I have like 16,000. So it's like, meh. I'd rather them take away the cost of enhancement cores. I have less enhancement cores than anything else, but I still have like 550, but it's still would be nice to get rid of that. But, you know, little bits and pieces here that they change is always good. Weapon sandbox tuning. During Season 20, we introduced a lot of changes to weapons, as well as special reticles that better represent the perks and different firing patterns that some of them have. We are doubling down on that for Season 21 with more informative and more visible reticles at high field of vision or field of view, or FOV, for fusion rifles, hand cannons, sidearms, and trace rifles, as well as special ones for several exotics like Devil's Ruins, Charge Shot, or Lumina's Noble Rounds. There are also some exotic weapon buffs. World Line Zero is back. Reworks. Salvation's Grip. Salvation's Grip was just a shitty shitty exotic. People only really used it back in the day when you used to have to like get Atheon to like knock him off the map. But other than that, that was it. Or if you wanted to do some like tech to like climb something, then other than that, that was it. It wasn't really good for anything. Some nerfs. Thunderlord was cheating a bit, and some damage fixes. Basically, Thunderlord was doing the lightning strikes more than it was intended, and so it was giving you more damage. So it's going to be a little bit of a nerf there. Curious to see how that's going to play out. But basically, whenever you were using Thunderlord and somebody was running Divinity, it caused more lightning strikes, so they took that away. Some damage fixes for Winterbite was scolded. So Winterbite has just been bugged since it came out. We'll see if it's actually fixed. This will be like the 5th time they've tried to fix it. And of course, there are adjustments to some legendary archetypes and perks. You can read all about them in the weapon preview article that went live yesterday. Abilities tuning. For abilities, the best you can do is go and read the preview article we published on May 3rd. Lots of buffs for supers on PvE. They made a lot of roaming supers more powerful. I'm actually really excited. I hope Geomag, Stabilizer, Arc, Warlock is a thing now. That's actually my favorite subclass. Void is really good too, but I really, really love that. I feel like fucking Goku every single time I just shoot at a beam of Arc Lightning a beam at people. Super awesome. More fragments for several aspects. This is interesting too. I'm curious how this is going to play out. I think they have some for Arc, and then I forget which other ones. But they have some new aspects for most of them. Improved melees for Strand, as well as lower cooldowns for Grapple. Yeah, that was a problem with Grapple, and that was my biggest complaint about using Grapple. Is once you use it, it's like you have to wait to like such a long time. It really kind of takes the energy out of like, oh, I'm gonna be like grappling around like I'm fucking Spider-Man. So we'll see how this plays out. Hopefully it's good enough where I feel like Spider-Man, but we'll see. A few buffs to stasis and a long, very long, etc. Exotic armor tuning. Basically, they nerfed a lot of different exotics. The big one was Starfire Protocol. So that was a huge nerf for Warlock builds, or for that Warlock build. We'll see how that plays out. I'm going to run Arc probably mostly this season, but we'll see. We're also introducing several quality of life improvements updates in Season 21. Here's a list of them with further details available in the May 4th TWAB. New Vanguard bounties. Finest Matter Weave and Rainmaker can now be consumed to earn associated material. It sounds like they're really starting to condense like your inventory space, so that way it's not all congested. When they got rid of the materials from each of the planets, that was really nice. It sounds like they're just trying to make it less congested, which, thank you. That's really nice. It's just kind of an eyesore to have like a complete inventory full of shit that you rarely use. You know what I mean? Certain triumphs now boost the rate of exotic drop rate in The Last Wish, Deepstone Crypt, Val the Disciple, Vault of Glass, and Kingsfall, and they are retroactive. Doesn't matter for me. I have all the exotics from all the raids, so if you don't have it, something to look forward to there. Crucible updates. I mean, I'm not super worried about it, but we'll go through this. Crucible's just been in such a weird state. There's like people using hacks and other stuff like that. It's just not a fun time, but let's see what they have to say. It says Crucible updates. In addition to bringing the classic Meltdown PvP map into rotation, we are making several changes and updates to how Trials of Osiris will work in Season 21. There was some kind of uproar about this, about the changes to Trials, people especially who like to take other people to the Lighthouse. I know Grenader Jake, he's a really big content creator for Destiny, and his whole main thing, one of his main things that he does is he takes people to the Lighthouse that have never been to the Lighthouse. I think last time he had mentioned he had done over 2,200 carries since Destiny 1. That's insane. And from my understanding, the changes that they were going to make for him, it was really going to hurt him being able to take people to the Lighthouse. So that sucks for him, because that's mainly a lot of his content, which sucks. Especially anybody else that just, likes to help people get to this Lighthouse. Yeah, really sucks, but it is what it is. We'll see if they retroactively change it, or not retroactively. Let's see if they'll change it later on down the road. I'm sure like anything else with Bungie, they're just testing it out to see how it goes. Our intention is to make more rewarding game mode without taking away the challenge. Flawless pull is being replaced by the new practice pull and challenger pull. Exactly what I was talking about. Those pulls are what's really going to hinder those people trying to take people to the Lighthouse. There's a new Trials quest for new players. Some Trials passages have been adjusted to provide a better experience. They're adding an extra loss to the Passage of Mercy. So instead of getting one loss forgiven, you get 2 losses, which I think is going to be nice, especially for those people who are solo queuing. If you're like me, like I like to solo queue, it will be nice to be able to potentially have better odds of getting to the Lighthouse. Elimination is out, and Dominion will be the core game mode for Trials. I prefer Elimination, to be honest, but Gilding the Flawless Seal has new requirements. There's plenty more information on the May 4th TWAB. You can check that out. 3 new outstanding aspects. I like what they did there. Outstanding. 2 weeks ago, we teased the new aspects coming to Strand in Season 21 as part of a new quest in which Lightfall owners will learn more about the Veil in Neomuna. So, owners will learn more about the Veil in Neomuna and earn a new legendary weapon. Oh, so is that going to be right off the bat? Oh, we're going to have to check that out on Tuesday then. that's going to work out perfectly because I get off 11:30 that day. We'll be able to hopefully run that quest. So we're going to learn more about the Veil. They had talked about that when Lightfall had released, that a lot of people didn't know, like, what the hell is the Veil? Like, nobody had no idea. Bungie actually had to tweet out about it, saying that they were going to release more information about the Veil, and this is it. So basically, at the start of the season, it sounds like we're going to have a new quest. I guess that's going to be part of the seasonal stuff, I'm assuming, maybe, or maybe something different. But we're going to learn more about the Veil and earn a new legendary weapon. I wonder what that's going to be. Well, we felt like you wanted to see a bit more, so even though you will be able to test them by yourself in a few days, we recorded some short videos so you know what to expect. You can start thinking of new builds. Enjoy. So this is the new Hunter aspect, Threaded Spectre. Activate your class ability to leave behind a decoy woven from Strand matter that draws the attention of nearby combatants. After taking significant damage, or when combatants approach, the decoy detonates, dealing damage and releasing threadlings that seek out and attack nearby foes. So let's check this out. Oh, it has like no HP. Wow, that has very little HP. Let's check that out again. Hold on. I want to check how many hits it goes. So, okay, so that Minotaur smacked it with a melee. So maybe it can take maybe like 1 or 2 hits. It doesn't look like that's strong, but it mainly looks like it's a more of an escape thing. So it's going to be a way for you to kind of like stay, you know, alive, I guess. Almost the way I'm going to think about it, it's more like a invisible with like void. This is going to be a way for you to kind of, oh, I'm taking a lot of damage. I need to back up a little bit so I can heal up. This is going to be a way for you to kind of just postpone some of that damage that you're taking. It does look like it launches the threadlings, which will be cool. So yeah, that might be cool. I'm still going to play Warlock, but whatever. The Titan aspect, which is called Fletchet Storm. While sliding, activate your charged melee ability to leap into the air, knocking nearby targets away and dealing damage. While airborne, activate your charged melee again to launch a cluster of damaging, unraveling projectiles. Repeatedly activating melee will chain additional throws. Oh, let's see. Oh. That's cool. Let's see that again. Wow. That's going to be a really like mid to long range like ability. That's really nice. I like that. That's a really nice melee. Not too shabby. And then the Wanderer. I was really excited because this really kind of goes more into like the threadling thing with Warlocks. So it says tangles you throw attach to enemies and detonate into a suspending burst. Threadling final blows create a tangle. Let's check this out. Oh, dude, that's going to be so awesome in Grandmasters. Because you know what that means? That means you don't have to run suspending grenades. That means you're not going to have to run suspending grenades, which is going to be really, really, really nice. I'm super stoked about that one. Probably more excited. I mean, obviously I'm a Warlock main, but I'm super stoked about that. All right. The refundable artifact is almost here. Dang it. So then that means they're not releasing it with the launch of Season 21. So basically, Bungie had talked about that they were going to make it eventually at some point give you the ability to refund a single artifact mod instead of having to reset the whole thing and then repick everything. So let's see what they say about it. Are you ready to wield your new NPA repulsor regulator? That's your new seasonal artifact. Treat it well or Drifter might use you as bait. Remember, the seasonal artifact has changed a bit recently with Lightfall. Mods from the artifact change into perks that are always on when unlocked, and you don't have to slot them into your armor pieces. Starting with Season of the Deep, another change is coming. You will have the option to refund perks from the artifact individually 1 by 1. Oh, so it is releasing with start. Okay, sorry. The way that read, I was like, no. So it is releasing with the launch of 21. Okay. So adapting to each activity, crafting the most focused build will be a bit faster and easier than before. Huge change. Love that. Absolutely love it. Again, instead of having to reset the whole artifact, oh, I need mods for solar, or I need mods for void because I'm running void, or I need mods for arc. That's going to be huge. But in order to make the most amazing builds, you need to know the perks. That's an easy fix. Here we go. This is our first look at all of the mods coming in Season 21, Season of the Deep. Here we go. So we also get to learn what mods are for champions as well. So column 1, this is going to be all the anti-champion mods. Anti-barrier auto rifle. Your equipped auto rifle fires sheer piercing, blah, 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 blah. Auto rifles are always overcharged when the modifier is active. So we have anti-barrier auto rifle, unstoppable hand cannon, overload scout and trace rifle, and then unstoppable glaive. So I guess Zioli's Bane, freaking anything else that's a hand cannon that would be really good. I guess you could also run like something like Lumina or Palindrome. Yeah, I guess that's okay. I mean, hand cannons are always usually pretty good, and I really like them too for unstoppable because it's usually just like one shot. I mean, most of the time it is one shot with most things, but overload scout, anti-barrier auto, glaive. The problem with glaives, and I don't know if Bungie has something in the works for glaive, but the problem with glaives is it's such a high risk, right? Going up and having to melee. I guess you could shoot with the unstoppable glaive, but like, I don't know. I would rather, if I'm going to have to run an unstop, it's going to be a hand cannon. Unless Winter's Bite, I wonder if the projectile for Winter's Bite would proc that. We'll have to do some testing with that. Because if you could use Winter's Bite and just pop the little like orb, and then it just unstops as it travels, that might be worth it. But then you have to sack an exotic in order to use it when you're running. Because this is all, I mean, mainly these are going to be for in-game like Grandmasters, right? Or Master Raids if they do the reprise raid this season. But I don't know if they will. Maybe they will. I don't know. All right, so we got all the anti-champion mods. Column 2. So these are all the siphon mods, basically. So the main 3 subclasses are going to be Arc, Void, and Strand this season. And then Melee, it looks like, for the abilities. And then the Technicolor Siphon is going to be the multi-purpose. If you're going to do Strand and Arc or Strand and Void, it's going to be a combination of the two, just like it was in Season 20 this season of Defiance. Column 3. Let's see. Improved Unraveling. Increases the amount of damage dealt by unraveling a target. That would be really nice with that one exotic, the exotic auto rifle. I'm drawing a blank right now. Whatever it is. Either way, that's going to be really nice with Threadlings, because Threadlings also unravel too. So you could actually just really build into some unraveling. I can't think of the name of the freaking auto rifle. Anyways, Deeper Origins greatly improves the benefits provided by the Unsated Hunger, Nanotech Trace Rockets, Harmonic Resonance, which is the new raid origin perk, and Noble Deeds traits. So that's just basically the buffs to all those origin traits. Unto the Breach. Defeating a void debuffed target creates a void breach while your void subclass is equipped. That could be good. I mean, it's going to be a good way to for you to spec into void breach, build around that. I'm sure there's going to be some silly stuff that you can do with that. Electric Armor. Stay amplified longer while your arc subclass is equipped. Ooh, that'll be nice. Better for damage resistance, damage buffs if you build into that. Thunderous Retort. Grants bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded or while amplified. Oh, I can already see some synergies here. So you're running this with Thunderous Retort, and then just pop, your arc super. Thunder Crash, I feel, is going to be really silly this season. Lasts until the end of the super activation. Oh, so like if you're running arc, Geomag, Chaos Reach, then it's going to run the entire time until the end of the super. That's going to be really crazy. Again, that's pretty much what I'm going to be running the whole season is Chaos Reach Warlock, I'm pretty sure. Column 4, so we're in the 4th column here. So Ba, 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 ba. Okay. Column 4, Strand Soldier. Your Strand weapons gain unraveling rounds when you gain Woven Mel while your Strand subclass is equipped. All right. So a good way to synergize with this first one up here in column 3. Overcharged Armory. Weapons with the Unsated Hunger, Nanotech Trace Rockets, Harmonic Resonance, and Noble G traits are always overcharged weapons when the modifier is active. Okay. So just extra damage when they're active. Protective Breach. Picking up a Void Breach gives you an overshield. What? Or refreshes your existing overshield. Okay. You can kind of see the combos already here. You can kind of see the synergies between Unto the Breach and Protective Breach. I bet you with the changes that's coming to no backup plans with shotgun builds for Titans, I feel like that's going to be really silly. I feel like that's going to be a really, aside from Grandmasters, I mean, it could be silly in Grandmasters, but we'll see. Countercharge. Gain a stack of armor charge when you stun a champion. That could be nice. Amped up, gain damage resistance while amplified. Again, they're really building those synergies with the arc. You have amped up with electric armor and thunderous retort. You're not only going to take less damage while you're amplified, you're going to do more damage with your super on top of that. So I wonder I think the base amplified is around 10 seconds. I wonder what it's going to buff it up to. Or maybe it's a little bit less. Maybe it's 7 seconds. I don't know. We'll have to check that out. Column 5. So these are the ones that really kind of define. Column 5 are always really the ones that define the weapon metas. Column 5. Conductive Cosmic Needle. Targets affected by Strand debuffs take increased damage from Arc and Void abilities. So it's giving Strand the ability to buff those people that are running the 2 other subclasses that are going to be the popular ones, are the ones that Bungie wants you to use this season. So it's going to make you beneficial for your other teammates. That's nice. Shock and Awe. Arc final blows while you are amplified. Summon a burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets. Damn. Can you imagine? Oh my God. Okay. So I just thought about this. So if you're running either a grenade launcher or maybe you're running, Kilos SMG with jolt, on top of being amplified all the time, you're just going to be like lightning and everything around you. Oh my God, that's going to be so crazy. If you're running the exotic with Warlocks, that gives you the buff to iconic traces and gives you more ability energy for each of those, that's going to be silly. Fallen Sunstar. Oh my gosh. So just, you're going to be running Fallen Sunstar while you're running around getting a bunch of ability. You're just going to be constantly tossing grenades, melee attacks, being amplified, damage resistance. Super's going to do more damage. And then right when you're going to do your super, pop on your Geomag, pop your Geomag super, Chaos Reach, do a shit ton of damage, run back, take the Geomags off, put your Falling Sunstar on. Dude, this is going to be a crazy season for Arc, I think. All right, Supernova. Picking up a Void Breach causes your next source of Void damage to create a large weakening pulse. So not only are you going to be able to like create Void Breaches whenever you kill something with a debuff, you're going to be debuffing at the same time after you pick up a Void Breach. So you can kind of see the synergy there with the Void as well. Oh, squad goals. Here we go. Performing a finisher while you're amplified grants amplified to nearby allies when your arc subclass is equipped. So these are all finisher based. So the Strand one is grants performing finisher while you have Woven Mel, grants Woven Mel to nearby allies when your Strand subclass is equipped. Shit. Performing a finisher while you have Devour, grants Devour to nearby allies when your Void subclass is equipped. That one is going to be real strong, because that means everybody's going to have the ability on kills to keep that going. So if you're in a strike, and you're in a Grandmaster, you're running Void. Let's say you're running Void Warlock, and you have the Controverse holds on, and you're just tossing out Void grenades, getting Devour, and you go up and finish something with your teammates around, they're going to get Devour. You just keep killing. You're just going to keep that Devour up over and over and over again. That's going to be silly. That's going to be really silly. These are all really good, but I feel like the Devour is going to be really silly. Lightning strikes twice. Are you kidding me? After throwing an arc grenade, gain increased grenade recharge for a short time. Arc final blows extend the duration of this benefit. Dude, people are just going to be lobbing out grenades left and right. You know what's crazy with the Falling Sunstar? It's crazy how often you get your abilities back with the iconic traces. And like, you're able to just toss out grenades. But this is going to be so, dude. Chaos Reach Warlock, I think is going to be nuts. All the arc subclasses are going to be nuts. All right, so updates to enemy elemental shields. We have one more update coming with Season of the Deep. One we haven't mentioned until today. We are changing how enemy shields look. To tell you about it, here's the Destiny 2 combat team. Destiny 2 combat team. Over the past few years, the Destiny dev team has introduced numerous changes to the core game experience as we've overhauled internal systems, as well as endeavored to make the game more accessible to our audience. The change we're about to talk about touches on both of these topics. With the launch of Season of the Deep, we're introducing a change to most combatant shields that will update their visuals across the entire game. This update had the explicit goal of not affecting Destiny's existing gameplay, so this will be a visual-only change. This is how shields are now. Yeah, we all know that. Yeah, that's a void shield. That's a void shield. Oh yeah, we're getting hit by the Minotaur. Okay. So this is what we've known since basically Destiny 1, pretty much, or since Destiny 2. All right, next. Now, Season of the Deep. Oh. Interesting. I wonder why they made it more like oval. Interesting. This is how they will start looking. I wonder why they did it that way. Maybe it's supposed to take up less visual space because, to be fair, the other shield is very big and blocky. And so maybe this is a way for them to just like take away some of that visual box. And so it's not as cumbersome when you're in a fight with a bunch of bad guys and you see like one void shield and it's just like you can't see anything else but that shield, or maybe it's obstructing your ability to hit the other mobs. Maybe that's what it is. Let's see what they say about it. Given that the majority of these shields have been in service since 2017, so Destiny 2, the launch, the number of bespoke combatant shields has become more difficult to maintain as we've significantly expanded the number of enemy combatants in the game. To address this challenge, we made a large back-end shift to a new shield system that will be easier to maintain and improve upon, which brings us to our next point, accessibility. When we decided to overhaul the system, we took the opportunity to create visuals that are more accessible for colorblind players and players with other visual impairments. As such, we've minimized visual information that is not relevant to the gameplay in favor of bringing to the foreground more combat-relevant details. This primarily takes form in more clearly surfacing the unit's shield's element. Right now, the color of combatant shields are the only way the player can tell what the optimal element counter is. In the new system launching with Season of the Deep, we've included more visual artifacts with each shield type that indicates to players which elemental types are best to use. Oh, so it's going to be, not only did they change the shape of it, but they're going to change how each of the elements look. They only showed the void, so we'll see. We've included, okay, as a final detail, we'd like to note that immunity shields, white shields, and shields for specific boss encounters will not be receiving this update. Due to their slightly more complicated nature, we're avoiding making any broad changes which could unintentionally impact encounter mechanics, designs, etc. Oh, interesting. So the immunity shields that they use, or for specific boss encounters, are on a separate system or built differently. Oh, that's interesting. Of course, they don't want to break anything. If Bungie knows something, it's breaking shit. All right. Stabilizing. And now a note from the engineering team as part of the work to prepare for Lightfall. We embarked on a large technical upgrade to improve our Destiny services and hardware. This work included updating our services to use technologies as well as preparing for hardware upgrades. In the long run, this investment in the back end of Destiny should lead to a more stable and reliable experience for all players and a faster recovery in instances where service downtime occurs. The launch of Lightfall was a great example of this, with high stability and uptime for both launch day and the Root of Nightmares world's first race. I will say that was one of the smoothest launches of any expansion that I've experienced with Destiny 2. I will say that was the best one for sure. However, as millions of players have interacted with these services, we have discovered some issues that we are working on addressing. A prime example of this is our background service update system. Typically, several days before one of our Tuesday updates, we will stage the update on our servers. This upgrades our backend services to the new version. It means that during the Tuesday patch, we only take a brief amount of downtime before letting players back into the game. However, with our new libraries and code, we've discovered cases where the background update has put our services into a bad state, forcing us to bring down Destiny 2 offline for extended maintenance. Yeah, there was a couple of times where they actually brought down the game for like half a day, almost a whole day. It was crazy. So what are we doing about this? We have a team focused on making corrections to our new services so that we can safely perform back-end updates or background updates again. However, while we do that work, we also want to make sure that Destiny 2 experience is predictable as possible. Therefore, starting with Season of the Deep's launch update 7.1.0, we are moving to a scheduled downtime model where we bring down Destiny 2 offline for an expected 1.5 hours on our update days. This will allow us to do our staging and rollout on the same day and should make the experience more stable and reliable. In the meantime, we will continue to monitor performance, upgrade hardware, increase service reliability, and work to give you a great experience with each time you play the game. So instead of doing like the background update, quick little update, they're just doing it all in one fell swoop for the purpose of making it more stable. We'll see how that goes. Again, if Bungie does something well, it's breaking shit. No offense to them, but they just know how to break shit, whatever. All right, Guardian games are coming to an end. It's the final week of the Guardian games. Have you made your class proud? Because the Titans certainly are, as they hold a big lead in the final stretch. No matter the class watching, you'll take part in the friendly competition. Is always tremendously fun. Keep banking medallions till the end to earn more rewards. Current standings: Titans in first place, Hunters in second, Warlocks in third. I wasn't really into this Guardian games. It was like, meh. I got really kind of upset that they were making so many not so many, such a bad nerf to the Starfire protocol. Like, they basically were making it unusable almost. We'll see, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be unusable. Bungie just does that a lot. Well, where they make changes to certain exotics so that like a build is just unusable, and then eventually at some point they change it so it's usable again and it's not nearly as strong as it was before. Why not just bring it down a little bit? I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's too encouraged for people to use other builds aside from that. I mean, let's be honest, Starfire Protocol, it has been a staple for such a long time, and it was just so strong, and you got your well back all the time. It was coming, but it didn't deserve the nerf that it got. But either way, introducing agents at Bungie. May is Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and we're proud to introduce Asians at Bungie. Looks like they're introducing a new emblem. Here's the new emblem. That's cool. I really like that, actually. It looks really nice. Blah, 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 blah. New gift for gifting Twitch sub. Blah, 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 blah. Patch language change. Beginning with simplify language. Update release schedule. Oh, here we go. Next Tuesday. So the update to 7.1.0 release schedule. Next Tuesday, May 23rd, Destiny 2 update 7.1.0 will be released. It says view our Destiny server and update status page for maintenance times, as well as the timeline below. So this is all Pacific time. So maintenance is going to begin at 7 a.m. 8:15, Destiny 2 is going to be brought down. 10 a.m., it's going to be brought back online. And then update 7.1.0 will be playable on all platforms and regions. And then at 11 a.m., Destiny 2 maintenance is scheduled to complete. So at 12 o'clock, right when the servers are reset, it's going to be available, which is perfect. And then last chance for Bungie rewards, preview season pass and vendor rewards, blah, 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 blah. Oh, players should ensure they have collected any earned but unclaimed awards from previous season passage. Known issues, back-to-back. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So that's going to do it for the TWAB, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Let me know you enjoy the content. As always, stay spicy out there, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Later.